Today I'm at the Ironman 70.3 North American Championship in St. Georgie, Utah, and we're going to talk about the pros and cons of hosting this big event. Hi, I'm Shari Harris with Fathom Realty. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything about living in the St. George, Utah area, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell for notifications. So to get started, let's talk about leading up to this great big event. So probably 2 to 3 weeks before the Ironman event, you start seeing signs, big orange signs that say the date of the event and detours and road closure warnings all over town. And then you see like extra runners on the side of the road and bicyclists who are here training for this huge event, as well as it's that kind of time of year, so we see an increase anyway. But anyway, so there's that you're driving and having to be extra cautious of the runners and the bikers on the side of the road. It's a battle, really. Some people are like super excited about this and others are angry and frustrated that we're sharing the road. So there's both sides of it, I'll be honest. It actually just makes me a little nervous and stuff, trying to give them that 3 feet or whatever they say to make sure that nothing happens. So anyway, that's happening leading up. And then the locals, everybody's so different. You have some locals who pack their bags and they leave town. They do not want to deal with this at all. And then you have those who are just really good getting all their errands done, and then they go hide away at home and they do not leave their home during this event at all. And then you have those who are like front row seats, volunteering, super excited. They're cheering the runners and the bicyclists and the swimmers all day long. And then you have those who are watching and they're kind of following, or like maybe they just go out their front door or down the street and they're able to see part of it. For us, we did a little bit different this year. And we got up super early, it was still dark outside, and went to Town Square in St. George to jump on a bus, because the swimming starts out in Sand Hollow State Park and they close it the day of the Ironman, and there's no parking on the roads outside of there and no parking there. So if you want to see the swimmers, you got to get bussed over there. So they start, I think it said like 4:30 in the morning, busing all the athletes over. And then after they've got the athletes over, then they start busing those who want to watch. So we timed it pretty perfect. We got there a little bit after 5:30 and parked. It was a little hard to find a parking spot actually on the streets of St. George, but we found one. Walked over to Town Square right as 2 buses pulled up. So we were able to get on right then and be bussed over to Sand Hollow. And then once we got there, we actually found this great spot just sitting on the rocks and just listened to them talking about the event. And, you know, they had the national anthem. They had a warm up for the pro athletes. So they went out and did a little loop in the water. But it was so cool looking out across the water and seeing people on paddle boards and inflatable boats. Anyway, tons of people out there, and then the markers for the race. And so anyway, they let I think they called them pro athletes, go first, and the men and then the women. And anyway, they had a bit of a lead with them before they started letting everybody else go. Every few seconds you would hear this little like horn and a few more people would get in the water. Anyway, it takes over an hour for them to get all the athletes into the water. It's like we have over 2,000 athletes, they said, competing. And so there were some already done before others had even entered the water yet. So it was fun to watch, like as they were finishing and coming running, out of the water. They're like tearing off clothes as they're running, and then getting to their bikes, and they have to kind of walk with their bikes, walk, run, holding their bikes to a certain point, and then they can jump on and mount. And I had never seen this before, where it's like the shoe is already on the pedal somehow. Anyway, they were like jumping on and they were taking off. And so it was really, really impressive to watch these athletes. So we hung out there for a while and just kind of watched that, and then jumped on a bus. The parking lot there was full. I don't know how many buses, yellow school buses, were there waiting, but anyway, we jumped on a bus and headed back to Town Square, and they had a big screen there in the park, and we plopped down there and we're like watching the athletes and seeing like the beautiful scenery here because it's so gorgeous. on the big screen, and they were talking about the athletes, and now I feel like I'm friends with some of these athletes because I know all about their stories, their history, and what they've overcome. Anyways, it was like fun to watch, and then suddenly you realize like they're on a street like near you and they're almost to you. So then we like jumped up and ran over and watched them come in on their bikes and jump off their bikes and quickly like change shoes or do whatever they needed to do and take off running. And so it was just so cool to be right there and see that switch. And then actually I felt like no time at all. The finish line was kind of on the other side of town square, and so they send them on their route running, and they come back here to town square to see the finish line. And it was so cool, like cheering on and watching all these athletes cross the line. And I was like looking up to see what they had just done, and this just amazes me. So this is a 70.3, so the total thing is 70.3 miles. So they swim 1.2 miles, bike 56 miles, and run 13.1 miles. And so I guess this is actually a half Ironman, which blows my mind. I can't imagine doing double this, but anyway, it's just amazing seeing what these athletes accomplished, and it's been fun seeing all the people cheering them on. And I really loved the girl, I can't think of her name now, who won in the division for the girls pros. It was fun to see some young girls, they're so excited, like their role model, you know, crossing that finish line. And so it was just a cool uniting event. So I'm really excited that we host this every year, and that there's so many ways that you can participate and enjoy it. But I do recommend you get all of your errands done beforehand, because I have had weekends where I had to go into town to do something, and the roads it's kind of difficult to get around. They have maps and stuff, but it can be kind of frustrating. So I say you take care of your errands beforehand and just join in and enjoy it. Another thing to mention is these athletes are from all over the world. It was really cool too. I think the first man out of the water was like from Germany and stuff. So anyway, it was cool to see their flags all down the screen and realize that people come from all over the world. And one of the athletes was actually talking about this being one of her favorites because of just the spectacular beauty of the desert, and then the red rock and the lava fields, because they're like running through Snow Canyon. And that's another thing, this is a hilly run and bike ride. And so it's a really like strength and endurance. I guess some Ironmen have more of the hills and really pushes you that way, and others are maybe a little more flat and there's more speed to it. And so this one is good for those who are really good at that strength, endurance, and the hills, because these hills, I don't know how they do it. I tried to keep up with my son on some of these exact hills, and I stayed at the bottom and he just went and came back for me because I couldn't do it. So I'm so impressed watching all these athletes. There's also the fact that this event, they say, I was reading up, like 20 to 30,000 people come to watch this event. And so that means, yeah, the traffic, there's a lot more traffic. I know Friday, I was trying to go run my errands, get some grocery shopping done, and it was kind of a madhouse over by Costco, Walmart area. So that is one of the cons, that there are so many more people here. So you've got the additional traffic. Restaurant lines might be a little bit longer. So I know some people, that's one of the cons. So, but it is cool that we have so many people come here to enjoy this event. Yeah, and this is a great support for our economy. Being kind of a tourist area, events like this really help keep a lot of our businesses going and support a lot of our families. So there's that too. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully I will see you at the next Ironman. Talk to you soon.